Have you ever stopped to think about the journey a sardine takes before it ends up inside a can? Every year, billions of sardines are caught across Southeast Asia and transformed into food that travels the entire world. And the scale is massive. A single facility can process hundreds of tons per day. To put that in perspective, that is the same weight as several fully loaded commercial airplanes being handled every single day. It looks like a simple product when you see it on the shelf, but behind it there is a chain that involves open ocean operations, fishing fleets, cooling systems, sanitary inspections, sterilization, and a global logistics network. So how does a delicate fish that can spoil in just a few hours become a safe, shelf-stable food enjoyed across the globe? Today, we are going inside this entire operation step by step to see exactly how it works. Everyone has seen a can of sardines at the store. It is cheap, convenient, and can last years without refrigeration. But very few people know what really happens before it reaches your kitchen. The process begins far from the coast. Out at sea, there are rules, monitoring systems, and strict procedures to make sure the fish keeps its quality and safety from the very first moment. Then comes unloading at the port, temperature control, sorting, cutting, steam cooking, sealing, sterilizing, and finally the distribution that sends this product to markets around the world. Many imagine this industry works with a simple routine of catch the fish and put it in a can. But the truth is completely different. Every stage is designed to avoid waste, protect texture, maintain freshness, and guarantee food safety. And this does not happen on a small scale. It operates every day at a consistent pace to supply a global demand that never stops growing. If you enjoy learning how everyday products are made and want to see the inside of one of the most important food supply chains on the planet, drop a like, subscribe, and let's start this journey. In the very first stage of this process, long before a single sardine reaches a processing facility, specialized teams review maritime maps, weather data, and sonar signals captured over large ocean areas. Nothing is improvised. The exact location of migration routes is tracked through satellite systems combined with movement patterns recorded over many seasons. Every vessel leaves the port with precise coordinates and a carefully planned capture strategy designed to optimize fuel, travel time, and storage capacity. These vessels do not operate alone. Support boats, supply ships, and coastal control centers follow the operation in real time, monitoring each move and adjusting the route when necessary. This coordination helps the crew respond quickly if the shoal changes depth, direction, or density. On the screens of the technicians, the sardines appear as a compact mass, and the goal is to intercept them at the moment when the concentration is perfect. The denser the group, the lower the waste, and the higher the performance for each trip. As soon as the vessel reaches the right area, preparations start in a structured and synchronized way. Cables, floats, and circular nets are positioned with precise calculations. Each crew member knows exactly what to do, from operating the release system to tracking the volume and weight of each catch. This phase needs to be fast, because sardines move constantly, and timing affects the success of the entire capture. A mistake in positioning can result in the loss of thousands of fish and affect the productivity of the entire operation. This beginning represents only the logistical and strategic side, but it determines the quality and efficiency of everything that happens after. When the shoal is secured at the perfect moment, the yield is higher and the fish preserve their ideal freshness for refrigeration, sorting, and later food processing stages. The capture has not even started yet, but the commercial and operational gears are already working. And what comes next is turning tons of fish into loaded nets with precision, speed, and total control to keep everything on track for the rest of the journey. Once the vessel is in position and the crew gets the signal, a critical phase begins. The circular net, built to handle thousands of pounds of fish, is released with precision and spreads across the surface like a floating ring. It is not deployed randomly. The diameter is calculated so it surrounds the entire shoal without waste. Floats, cables, and sensors hold everything in place while the boat moves slowly around the marked point, completing the circle with steady control. Sardines are fast and extremely reactive to changes in the water, so efficiency matters. As the net closes, operators monitor depth and current strength to avoid stress on the equipment and ensure a clean enclosure. The goal is to prevent the fish from escaping to deeper zones. Screens on board show the distribution of the shoal inside the net, allowing the crew to adjust in real time and maximize the catch. When the circle is fully closed, the hauling begins. Reinforced cables pull the net toward the vessel, and the sardines gather in the center. This step requires powerful equipment and constant attention because the quality of the fish must be preserved. A mistake can overload the system and affect the next catches of the day. The goal is not only to catch fish, but to maintain ideal texture and freshness for food processing once they reach the factory. Gradually, the water drains and a silver mass of sardines becomes visible. It is a calculated result, planning turning into tons of fish ready for refrigeration. The capture worked. As part of the crew begins the industrial cooling procedures to keep the fish fresh, another group is already studying the next target location. Out here, time means productivity, and delays reduce value. And if you think the hard work stops now, the unloading phase will prove otherwise. Right after the catch is secured, the priority shifts. Everything now focuses on preserving the sardines' quality from the very first minute. The crew transfers the fish into storage chambers loaded with crushed ice and cooled by industrial refrigeration. It is not simply throwing ice on top. The temperature is carefully controlled to avoid any variation that could affect texture, shine, or freshness. Sardines are delicate and their meat begins to lose quality fast if not cooled correctly. Many people imagine fishing as just pulling in the catch and storing it. But this step requires technique and protocol. Workers place layers of ice between each batch to ensure even cooling throughout the tank. Equipment monitors temperature and weight in real time, adjusting ice amounts as needed. This prevents bacterial growth and keeps the fish in perfect condition for the next stage of food processing. The faster this cooling happens, the higher the quality and commercial value. At the same time, circulation systems inside the compartments prevent stagnant water buildup. Since excess liquid can damage the fish, the entire setup is designed to protect food preservation during the journey back to shore. The vessel acts like a small pre-processing unit, following similar standards to what will happen later inside the factory. No matter the volume of fish, the goal is always the same: keep every sardine as fresh as possible. This rhythm continues batch after batch while the ship heads toward land. Sensors and crew members constantly adjust ice, temperature, and airflow to maintain ideal conditions. The final quality of the product starts here, long before any sorting equipment or food-grade machinery. And as the vessel approaches the port, the next mission begins, unloading tons of fish quickly and efficiently so the journey to the next phase can continue. Once the vessel approaches the port, the environment changes, but the pace stays the same. Refrigerated trucks, hydraulic conveyors, and pumping systems are already in place to receive the catch. As soon as the ship docks, industrial hoses connect to the storage tanks on board, moving the sardines straight into large receiving units on shore. There is no manual handling here because maintaining hygiene, speed, and controlled temperature is essential to preserve quality. The port infrastructure is designed to handle massive volume without interruption. Equipment constantly measures weight, flow, and temperature as the fish transitions from sea to land. Every minute, tons of sardines move towards sorting facilities located just a few steps away. Technicians monitor screens and adjust settings when needed, ensuring the product stays in ideal condition for rapid food processing. The goal remains the same: keep the fish fresh and stable for the next stage. Right after offloading, insulated trucks take over, carrying the sardines to processing units nearby. Each load is tracked and monitored to ensure it moves in the shortest possible time frame. This logistics chain is the result of years of refinement. Any delay could affect quality. So everything runs with strict timing and constant oversight. Smooth execution here means maximum value at the factory. Meanwhile, teams at the port reset the systems, clean equipment, and prepare for the next vessel. It is a continuous cycle, operating like an industrial pulse that beats in sync with global demand. The sardines left the ocean only hours ago, and now they are ready to enter quality inspection and sorting. Inside the processing facilities, the level of precision and control becomes even more advanced. Inside the processing facility, the first stage is making sure only the right fish move forward. The sardines arrive cold and shiny after controlled transport. They are released into channels that guide the batch toward sorting tables and machinery. Optical sensors check size, color, and physical condition. The idea is clear: only fish that meet consistent quality standards continue. Each batch passes through scanning systems that classify automatically while operators watch screens that show the data in real time. Human observation remains essential. Skilled workers supervise the flow to catch any detail the sensors might miss, such as minor damage or unusual texture. It works like a double filter. Technology setting the pace and trained staff ensuring accuracy. Sardines that do not match the standards are sent to other parts of the food industry, like pet food manufacturing or processed fish products. Nothing is wasted, demonstrating the efficiency of this phase. Alongside sorting, there is constant sanitary evaluation. Technicians check temperature, texture, smell, and surface condition. This ensures only fish in perfect shape move forward. Thailand's fishing industry is heavily regulated, and quality control is critical not only for domestic standards, but for international markets. The goal is to maintain trust and ensure safe food products worldwide. Once approved, the sardines are guided through controlled channels into the next section. Everything needs to move without delays to preserve freshness and productivity. With the batches now selected and verified, the next step begins: preparing each fish for cutting and cleaning. This phase reveals just how precise and disciplined this system is. The cutting stage begins with a steady flow of sardines entering machines designed to handle large volumes with consistency and care. The equipment positions each fish properly so that calibrated blades can remove the head and internal organs with accuracy. The system prevents damage to the meat and keeps the natural shape of the fish. Operators monitor control panels to check pressure, speed, and alignment, making adjustments whenever necessary. Even with automation, human attention remains essential. Workers review samples at regular intervals to confirm that cuts are uniform and free of unwanted residue. Nearby inspection tables allow another team to check selected batches manually, ensuring compliance with international food safety standards. It is a structured routine that blends technical discipline with continuous supervision. After cutting, the sardines go through a filtered water wash cycle at a controlled temperature. This removes any remaining particles and prepares the fish for steam cooking. The water is treated and reused following environmental guidelines, reducing waste and ensuring purity. The process is continuous, preventing the fish from sitting still and maintaining ideal conditions for food preservation. Once this stage ends, the sardines are clean, uniform, and ready for the cooking environment. They retain freshness and are free of excess moisture. This efficiency comes from training, equipment calibration, and strict operational standards. With preparation complete, the next focus is the cooking phase, where heat and timing define the texture and taste of every single sardine. The cooking stage begins when the sardines move on perforated trays into pressurized steam chambers. This setup heats the fish evenly without direct contact with water or oil. Temperature is managed with strict precision. Sensors track internal heat and exposure time to keep the texture firm and preserve nutrients and natural flavor. Each batch gets a specific timing adjustment to guarantee consistency and efficiency. Steam here does much more than cook. It inactivates enzymes, reduces microbial risk, and prepares the meat structure for long-term shelf life. This step supports food preservation by maintaining proper color, aroma, and moisture. Technicians monitor temperature and pressure graphs and check occasional samples to confirm progress. No batch advances without approval. Condensed water is collected and treated, allowing the system to operate efficiently and responsibly. The chamber runs in continuous cycles, receiving trays, applying heat, venting steam, and preparing for the next load. The pace must stay steady to meet production demand, especially because Thailand supplies international markets and needs reliable output for global export. When the cycle finishes, trays are removed and the fish comes out firm, clean, and ready for oil or sauce. The appearance already resembles the final canned product found on shelves. With structure and flavor set by steam, the sardines now move to a stage focused on orderly placement inside cans and controlled filling with the right amount of liquid. As soon as the sardines leave the cooking stage, they enter the section where they are placed into cans. Each fish moves along stainless steel guides that position them accurately inside the packaging units. The size and shape of the cans are not random. They are designed to fit a set number of sardines, ensuring consistent appearance and weight. Operators monitor screens and sensors that verify portioning and placement so every can receives the correct amount. This stage runs in a steady, continuous sequence. Cans arrive already cleaned and pre-sterilized, ready to receive the product. The sardines are placed gently to avoid damaging the fish after steam cooking. Immediately after, dosing systems add oil, water, or sauce depending on the product type. The volume is precisely calibrated to avoid overflow or shortage, keeping flavor and shelf life consistent. The liquid used for filling follows strict quality standards. It supports food preservation, protects flavor, and prevents oxidation. Samples are checked throughout the shift for viscosity, color, and stability. Technicians monitor this data and correct any variation in real time. Consistency is essential, especially when the facility supplies international markets through large-scale Thai exports. When each can is filled, it moves forward for final checks. Sensors confirm total weight and visual condition. If anything is outside the standard, the can is removed and inspected manually. Only after this verification do the lids get sealed securely. This seal is the final barrier before autoclave sterilization, and it must be perfect. With the cans properly filled and sealed, the next step is the thermal process that ensures long-term safety and stability. With the cans filled and sealed, a critical phase begins to ensure the product remains safe and stable for long periods. The containers move toward specialized equipment called autoclaves. Before entering, sensors recheck weight, sealing, and lid integrity. Any irregular can is removed for manual inspection. The idea is clear. No can proceeds unless it is properly closed, because a weak seal could compromise the entire process. Inside the autoclave, cans are arranged on trays or racks built to withstand high pressure and heat. The system uses a controlled combination of steam and temperature that destroys harmful microorganisms. Digital panels track the heat curve and exposure time. This ensures the inside of each can reaches the correct temperature without affecting texture or flavor. It is a mandatory stage for shelf-stable products like canned sardines. During sterilization, technicians watch charts showing internal pressure and time cycles. If anything moves outside the programmed limits, that batch is isolated and inspected again. These precautions meet international food safety standards, especially for Thai export shipments. After heating, cooling happens gradually to prevent thermal shock that could damage the cans or weaken the seal. The entire sequence is calculated for reliability. Once the cans exit the autoclave, they have a shelf life that can last years without refrigeration. The product then moves to drying, labeling, and a final visual check. From there, it continues toward palletizing and distribution. This stage confirms safety and quality, and the next one ensures the product can efficiently reach markets around the world. After sterilization, cans move to a station where they are dried and labeled. Machines position each unit along guided tracks while scanners confirm barcodes, expiration dates, and product identity. Pallets are built layer by layer with precise alignment. Workers check random samples to make sure no can has dents, printing defects, or visual inconsistencies. Presentation matters because the product must arrive on store shelves looking clean and professional. Once stacked, each pallet is wrapped in strong film to stabilize the load and protect it from moisture. Next, transport equipment moves the pallets to climate-controlled storage areas. Digital systems record every batch with date, destination, and storage conditions, ensuring complete traceability. Meanwhile, logistics teams confirm shipping orders, routes, and schedules for refrigerated trucks and export containers. At the loading zone, the pallets are checked again before entering shipping containers. Some shipments stay within the country, while a large portion moves to Thai export routes supplying North America, Europe, and other global markets. Temperature and ventilation settings are programmed and tracked to ensure the product arrives in ideal condition. Nothing leaves without electronic verification and documentation review. Once sealed, the container is transported to the port terminal and loaded onto cargo ships that follow established ocean routes. The faster and more reliable this chain is, the stronger Thailand's position becomes in the global seafood market. Fish that swam in the ocean only days ago is now on its way to supermarket shelves around the world. The canned sardines are ready for consumption, traveling from factory to dining table in different countries. And even after crossing oceans, their story continues when each can finally reaches the consumer. Now that you have seen the full journey a sardine goes through before reaching your home, it becomes clear that this can represent much more than it seems. Behind it, there is ocean logistics, fishing fleets, cooling systems, food safety controls, trained teams, and an operation that never stops to supply the world. From fresh fish in the sea to a safe and affordable food product, this chain shows how technology and well-structured procedures turn something extremely delicate into shelf-stable food that can last for years. And it makes you look at everyday items differently, right? Sometimes the simplest products hide the most impressive systems behind them. So now I want to hear from you. Did you ever imagine an operation this big was behind a can of sardines? Tell me in the comments which part surprised you the most. If this video taught you something new, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Here, we explore the real-world systems, processes, and decisions that keep the world running.